When I started my company, I made a $5,000 mistake. I say those words slow now. I say them calm. Because that mistake, it wasn't just about the money, it was about the weight of it. The weight of a lesson learned the hard way, out on the lonely stretch of some forgotten highway. I remember that time like it was this morning. The air was crisp, the coffee was hot in my hands, and the keys to my very own rig felt like they held the whole world. I was just starting out, full of that fire you get when you believe you can build something from nothing but grit and an engine. That morning, the sun was just breaking over the horizon, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, a promise of freedom, of being my own boss, of building a life on my own terms. I had a notebook, its pages filled with scribbled plans and potential routes. I had a map with pins marking cities I dreamed of hauling to and from. I had a little bit of cash saved up, and to me it felt like a mountain. I was so sure, so certain, that I could turn that small pile of money into a thriving business, one load at a time. I was young then, maybe a little naive. I saw the open road as a straight line to success. I thought that as long as my wheels were turning, I was winning. The complexities of the business, the fine print, the things that can go wrong when you're not looking, those were just background noise to me. I was focused on the driving, on the feeling of power behind the wheel, on the simple satisfaction of delivering a load and getting a signature on a bill of lading. The business side of it felt distant, like something I could figure out later. That $5,000 loss changed everything. It forced me to pause, to breathe, and to see the road for what it truly is. Not just a path for a truck, but a landscape for a business. Then came the load. That taught me the lesson. It was a run from a distribution center just outside of Chicago, Illinois, heading down to a facility in Atlanta, Georgia. The rate was fair, not great, but the route was straightforward, all highway miles. I spoke to the broker on the phone, calm, professional, reassuring. He said it was a simple, no-touch freight load, just drop and hook. It sounded like easy money. A quick turn that would keep my wheels rolling and cash flowing in. I agreed to the terms he mentioned over the call. I didn't look closely at the rate confirmation he emailed over. I glanced at the pickup address, delivery address, saw the price we discussed, and I figured that was good enough. The fine print, the paragraphs of dense legal text at the bottom of the page seemed like standard stuff. That was my first critical error. I trusted a voice on the phone more than the written words on the contract. When I arrived at the shipper in Chicago, the first red flag appeared. It wasn't a drop and hook. It was a live load, and the warehouse was backed up. I spent 6 hours sitting in their yard, my engine idling, burning fuel and time. The broker had assured me detention would be paid after 2 hours, but there was nothing about it in the rate confirmation I had failed to read. When I finally got to the dock, the shipper's crew told me I'd have to pay a lumper fee to get the trailer loaded. It was another unexpected cost, straight out of my pocket. I called the broker. He was apologetic, but vague. "Oh yeah, the lumper fee," he said. "Just pay it and we'll reimburse you on the back end. Don't worry about it." He said the same about the detention time. "Just make a note of it and we'll sort it out." I trusted him. I paid the lumper in cash, got my bills signed, and started my long drive south, feeling a little frustrated but still believing I would be made whole. I was wrong. The problems were just beginning, and the real cost of this easy load was about to become painfully clear. Was tense. Every mile felt heavier, weighed down by the unplanned expenses from the pickup. When I finally arrived at the receiver, another surprise was waiting for me. The delivery appointment was for the next morning, but the broker had told me it was a 24-hour facility. I was forced to find parking for the night. Another cost, another delay. After delivering the load the next day, I submitted my paperwork, the signed bill of lading, the lumper receipt, my notes on the detention time. I expected payment within the standard 30 days. That's when the real trouble started. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I called the broker. His friendly tone was gone. He said there was an issue with the paperwork. Then he said the shipper was disputing the weight. Then he stopped answering my calls altogether. My emails went into a void. Finally, after about 45 days of hounding him, a partial payment came through. It was short. The broker had deducted the lumper fee, claiming it was my responsibility. He refused to pay for detention, stating it wasn't in the contract. To make matters worse, he had tacked on a strange fuel advance recovery fee that we had never discussed. I was stuck. The shipper wouldn't talk to me because their contract was with the broker. The broker held all the power and he knew it. I was just one small owner-operator he could easily ignore. The final tally was brutal. The original load pay was already mediocre. Unpaid lumper fee, lost revenue from 6 hours of detention, the cost of the extra night of parking, and the mysterious fees the broker had invented. The load was a massive loss, but the damage didn't stop there. The time I wasted chasing the payment and the stress it caused took a toll. By the time I finally gave up on recovering the rest of the money, I calculated the total hit to my business. Between the hard costs and the lost opportunity, it was about $5,000 and some change. That $5,000 and some change stung and cut deep. I remember sitting on the running board of my truck as the sun went down, the engine ticking as it cooled. I felt small. I felt defeated. For a moment, I even thought about quitting, about selling the rig and finding an easier way to make a living. But as the sky turned dark, something shifted inside me. I wasn't going to let one bad actor, nor one costly mistake drive me off the road. I pulled out that old notebook, and under the dim light of the cabin, I started writing. I made a list of every single thing that went wrong. It was a long list. It became my new rule book. First and foremost, price your work right, every single time. Second, the contract is king. Third, and this is crucial, vet your partners.